Okay, we are live. Let me turn the recording on. And then, Gail, you intro.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Lunch Bunch at the Spiritual Neighborhood. The Spiritual Neighborhood is a grassroots community project of the Council of Families for Children, dedicated to the quality of life for the body, mind, and spirit, for the integration of healthy, happy humans. And today we have Vicki. And Elizabeth, you're going to introduce Vicki for us.
Yes. First of all, you've got to look at her hat. I mean, this woman came prepared, so.
It's cute.
No, I
It's
know.
not going to last long, girls. I'm not a hat person.
Okay. Well, let me kind of run through this right quick.
I would disagree with you. You're very much a hat person.
Vicki I is the CEO of CE2O. What is CE2O?
It is a combination. It's actually the unification of me. It takes the corporate training work I've done for 40 years and the energy work that I've done. That's CE2, and the O is for opportunities.
Like it.
Okay. She is also an international best-selling author, life coach, counselor, speaker, founder of Heart to Heart Healing, Heart to Heart Connections, and former mayor. Did y'all know that? She was a former mayor.
Where? Where?
Randall, Texas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So when we first got to talking about the virus and stuff, she was very informative. I mean, she knew a lot of the terminology and technology. It was like, oh my God, I had no idea. Okay. As a thought leader, she shares wisdom gained through direct experiences in personal and business life and connects ideas and concepts, creating patterns for life and healing. Dr. Vicki Hyde presents ideas with a smile and a sense of humor, enabling her to reach people authentically. Look at her hat. I mean, does that not say all that?
That's authentic.
First of all, she loves seeing light bulbs come on from behind people's eyes when they get it. All right. So, Dr. Vicki, share what is on that.
Oh my God.
Share what is on your hat, please.
My hat is in honor of COVID-19. And we have to find humor in things. We've been consumed by the fear, but I think that just keeps us at lower vibrations. So first of all, I told y'all I wasn't a hat person anyway, but I thought I'm going to honor their request because your hats are really cute, and I love watching y'all on your show during lunch. So this over here, there's two little clip-on clothespins. They say, one says inspire others, and one says believe in miracles. And this is my little 65% plus hand sanitizer. This says thank you because you need a little gratitude. Anybody that knows me knows I don't go. I feel naked without a notebook and a pen. I made it small, but they're still causing me balance issues over here. This is my gold 50-cent piece, so you never run out of money. This is, because these are quarantine snacks. This is really chocolate inside here. I can't tell anybody because it's top secret. And this right here is just a little candy, so you've got things going. This is a button that says girlfriends matter, because I think one of the things that we've had to realize is that our friendships, our ability to hug others, our being distant from family and friends, that all creates a huge amount of stress in our lives. So here's my mask. I take it everywhere I go. I color coordinated it, so I was wearing the color pink. And then over here is my secret weapon, because this represents the pink bubbles that I teach in Heart to Heart, because it's powerful, it's simple, and yet it changes lives. So it's kind of a conglomerate of what we experience in the COVID experience.
I love it. We should manufacture these and sell them.
Totally.
I'm going to have to take it off. I can't see a thing. It's seen.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, there you go, girls. For you.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much. That was brilliant.
My pleasure.
I thought those were your balls that you had hanging there.
I'll put it on. It's not quite as
It's a.
So efficient.
It looks like a wizard hat. I like it. I like it.
Perfect.
So, what do you want to talk about today, Vicki? What do you want to tell us about?
Well, let's see. I know Gail and I know Elizabeth, and I've gotten to know you somewhat on these, but it's a pleasure to meet you
Thank
face
you.
to face, so to speak. My passion, I know, like a lot of people, the reason I started CE2O is because I got tired of living with one foot in the business world and one foot in the, healing world. And I have had some amazing experiences. I am very blessed, and I use all my gifts. I create training programs for people like AT&T and Walmart, and some of the Big Ten. I've just done a whole lot of those kinds of training programs. I sprinkled heart to heart throughout them. And even the instructors that would come back to me and say, I don't know what it is, but there's something extra in your training programs. And I'm thinking, yeah, there's something extra in there. Because, at first I thought, okay, this isn't going to work either. At first I thought that, people would, I thought I was going to start a practice and hang the shingle out like everybody else. That didn't work for me. And so I realized that I wasn't hitting the 1 and 2 customers. I was hitting the corporations. The programs that I was asked to do, some of them were because, like for AT&T, they asked me to create a program for business and financial acumen because they didn't have anybody on staff that could do that. And I'm thinking, okay, I can do that. And I did that. And they're still using it today, and that's been probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And they change their programs all the time. That just kind of gives you a hint. I did some really cool stuff there, too. I did this. They wanted me to train salesmen, and I said, well, why don't we do like dating business style, only it's sales business style. And I had a lot of, brushback for that. And then the salesman, the students got in there, and I said, listen, if you don't like the way it works, I'll change it. I said, but once you let it, just try it out. So they did it, and the salespeople, the students in the class, the participants, they go, can we just do this every day? This was the best class we've ever had. And so even the instructors go, that's the best class. I love to teach that class. One of the things that I think helps me develop those kinds of classes is that I love learning and I love human beings. I like to see what makes them tick, but more than that, I like to see what makes their light bulbs come on. I like to see what makes them learn. And, I just get the best of both worlds to be able to provide that and to do my heart to heart, because that's my passion. It started a long time ago. When I was 19, I was married to a Plano police officer, although he got fired from Plano and he went on to Fall Springs. And so I was a young wife and so naive, it wasn't even funny, and it was a very abusive relationship. And one day he said, get ready, you're going to go meet your Jesus Christ today. And I thought,
wow.
I thought, I really want to live. And I begged, I was praying. I know an angel stepped in front of me and let me go. I know that life every single day is a gift because I've lived it. And I promised myself if I ever got out of that, I would live out loud. And that's what I've done. And I have, I like to believe that there are no limits unless we impose those limits. And so a lot of times I really enjoy saying, well, how could I do that? Why can't I try? So the second, I went to, I got a second divorce. I decided I needed to change my life. I went and decided that I believe in making a difference. And so I got to Crandall. I moved to Crandall because, frankly, it was halfway between Cedar Creek Lake and Dallas, and I decided I wanted to have my commute. So I go, hey, this looks good. I think I'll try this. I ended up building a house there that was my, mental health project after my divorce. And so I built the house. I wasn't part of their demographic. They didn't know what the heck to do with me in this family neighborhood, a white single female. And when they were asking me, well, what do you do? Why are you here? And I would go to town hall meetings, and I would see these people that were unengaged, political officials that were just disengaged with the issues that were really happening in this community. So I thought, maybe I'll run for mayor. So I did. I didn't win the first time. The second time, the mayor that beat me, he left town. There's a lot of questions about why he left town, but he left town. And the guy that was the mayor pro tem took over. And the day of the election and the day we had our first meeting, that guy left and said, I resign. So I had to get on the phone with it's a crazy story. But I got on the phone with the Texas Attorney General and I said, we need your help. I had never been a political official before, although rumor had it that I was, but I wasn't. And so that great guy and I'd like to know his name, but I don't remember his name if he ever gave it to me, but he gave me day-by-day instructions about what I needed to do to get the city of Crandall up and running while everybody was falling out and resigning. I wrote a book about that. I haven't published it yet, but it's called Intersections. And it talks about that whole story because it's way more than we could have time to talk about here. But
I bet if you figure out why the mayor left, you could change the title to Intersection.
Yeah, I wrote that book because I wanted somebody to see what kind of challenges were faced. I will tell you this. The first day on the job, I was, like I said, they like to tell a lot of rumors about who I was and who I wasn't. And so the very first day on the job, the then city manager locked her office and left and did not want me to come into her office.
What?
I found out later it's because she had a file on me, a private citizen. And then her assistant told me she couldn't trust me alone in her office with her personal things.
No.
And I know she meant for me to just erupt and go after her. And I looked at her and I said, then I think you better pack up your personal things and take them home. This is a city office and we need to conduct city business here. I looked over and her husband is standing right there. And I know they thought I was going to just dig into her with both feet, but that's not my style. But she ended up, we had a couple of other incidents, but she ended up resigning without further incident because I didn't respond in the way that she expected me to. It was the wildest, I would say it's the wildest time of my life, but it wasn't. It was just and a learning experience because I certainly learned a lot there. But we got to go down to Austin and we made a lot of changes in Austin. They have a law that they call, or a position or something they call the Crandall argument, because we didn't take on any fight we didn't win. And we had a woman mayor pro tem, and a woman city manager. And Austin would say, you better go make those women in Crandall happy. And so people that wanted to do end runs around us would end up having to go make Crandall. They'd have to come back to us and say, okay, this is really what we want to do. We'd say, okay, maybe we can.
Wow.
Lots of, you just kind of want to take a deep breath and go, that part's gone. We did some things that were really cool. We decided that we wanted a collaborative to plan for the future of Crandall. So we engaged the Chamber of Commerce, the economic development, the school district, the city government, and there was a fifth one. I'm missing the fifth one, but whatever it was. And that we would collectively decide where we wanted to be in 20 years. So we'd have one plan for one fee instead of 5 different plans fighting each other all the time. was a great strategic move, you know. So I was
That's
proud
brilliant.
to be a part of that.
That's brilliant. Turn it into one.
So what's really interesting about your story, and there's so much more there, but we have a very limited time, and I want to redirect you to what you're doing now, is that like Elizabeth, like Gail, like we've all done these really stupid, crazy things, but they have made us better at what we do, and it broadens our horizons on who we can relate to and how we relate to them. So with just this little tidbit, you're going to have to come back and tell us more about some of this stuff. What, damn.
There's more.
Well, you know,
Yes, there is more.
Well, I had an employee, a private investigator in my investigative company that was a mayor of a small town. I think it was Pilot Point or something. And her story is very similar to yours. Texas is not kind to women politicians. They're just not. But
Especially not when your goal is to be representative of the citizens. You know, a lot of people don't realize what's going on behind the scenes, but then you get in there and you go, wait a minute, this isn't legal.
well, you know why, don't you? Because they like to refer to us down in Austin as the serfs. We are the serfs in Austin. You know. So, what are you...
A serf. I've decided I refuse to be a serf. They may want to treat me that way, but I think that one of the things that I learned in that is that I'm going to stand up and be counted. And, you know, when you do that, you're not, you know, you own your power. And that is truly when I became really invested in empowerment.
So, how are you applying all that now? What are you doing now? Why do our people need to call you or talk to you now?
Okay, here's the 411. Like I said, I was working with Optel. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Yeah.
They were the very first voice messaging company.
Yeah.
They invented it.
Yes.
So I was there, and this girl was sitting next to me, and I was having a hard time getting over that second divorce. She looked at me, she goes, come on, we're going to a Reiki treatment. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I was a good Baptist girl up until that point. Dyed in the wool Baptist girl. And so I looked at her, I said, I don't think so. She goes, oh yeah, you need this, and we're going. And I'm like, really? Okay. So I made my way to Chala Salcedo. She is one of my amazing mentors. She has since passed on to the other side, but she took one look at me and she said, oh honey, you've got a broken heart and it's starting to heal. And I thought, how does she know that? I didn't tell her anything. And then she said, and this freaked me out, she said, a long time ago in a faraway place, you gave me something that I really needed, and now it's my turn to give back to you.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay, do I believe this? I thought, God, I hear the truth in that. What in the heck is she meaning? And so I decided I was in the next Reiki class. I studied with her and became a Reiki master teacher. About that time, she invited Eric Pearl, Dr. Eric Pearl, in from California, and he was doing reconnective healing. I don't know if y'all are familiar with him, but she brought him in. She said, Vicki, will you help me do advertising? I do a lot of things out of naivety. I go, oh, okay, let me try. So I called up Channel 8 and got him on Good Morning Texas. I met him at the studio, and he steps out of the limo, and I hear this voice. I'm thinking, where did that come from? There's nobody standing there. And they said, you're going to work for this man. I'm thinking, no, I'm not. I'm the mayor. I'm not going to work for him. I'm busy. And then September 11th happened. But before then, I went to the workshop. First of all, he was operating in real high frequencies with reconnective healing, but very left brain centered stuff, in my opinion. And so I went to the workshop, and a friend was with me, and she goes, I'm not getting this. I said, well, hey, I'll climb on the table and you can work on me. Well, as soon as I got on the table, somebody took my hand like this. And I'm thinking, who's touching me? Because I was a domestic violence survivor I like to know who's touching me in my vicinity. Not so much now, but back then.
In my vicinity. I love that. In my vicinity.
No. So then I have something weird. I but my eyes were closed. And I look over to see who's touching me. I don't know why. I look at his feet first. He has dusty feet and those sandals that wrap up his legs. And then he has this robe on. And then I looked up into his eyes and I think, okay, I know him. I can't say a word. I am speechless. And I'm listening to him. And he says, Vicki, I'll tell y'all, when he calls you by name, it's something. And he said, you are loved, you are special, you are in my care. And my life changed from that moment forward. Now, everybody I knew thought I was in a cult. I'm thinking, this is the greatest thing there ever was, and you have to think I'm in a cult. I'm like, okay, whatever you think is fine with me. And then I left my house, I left my city, I was finished with my mayor job by then, and I just went on what I call my sabbatical. People didn't know what was happening with me. I had people that gave me places to live, but I went out into the world and did my pilgrimage. Now, the cool part of that is I would work on people on the table, and they would begin to speak. They had some of the most incredible knowledge that was coming out of them. And I was so naive, I thought at first it was the person on the table. And then they'd say, we're from the stars. And I'd go, what? I was being educated by the universe, not the university, the universe. And that's one of the reasons why I have my little notebook. I don't go far without it, because the times I have been without a notebook, I've missed out on some of the greatest messages there ever were. And so one of the things that I wrote a book, it's called Heart to Heart, Connections, Miracles All Around Us, back in 2003. It's still available on Amazon, and it's a collection of a lot of those stories, a lot of those experiences. I have worked on people that have had miraculous outcomes. I live in a miraculous place of healing. And I think that we have so much more that we can do, but we just don't know how yet. And so part of my job is to teach people. And I have been blessed, like I said, with some, let me show you what happens. I have pictures. This is an example. I don't know if y'all can see this. One of my friends, and y'all probably know her, she was in the Heart to Heart workshop. Another friend took this picture, and see this pink orb right here? It's a pink bubble. Yeah. And she went out to work on these horses. Now that pink bubble grew as she started working on the horses. Wow. Isn't that cool? Wow. I love the evidence, show me evidence. And then I have a close relative, a very close relative, and he was diagnosed in his 50s with a heart defect. So my sister calls up and said, he's going up there, one of us needs to go, and it can't be me. You know how old her sisters are? I said, don't worry, I've already got my plane reservation, I'm on my way. Well, he wanted to make sure he and his wife were doing the healer caregiver thing, and I just sat for a lot of the time in the chapel, and I worked heart to heart on him the whole time. Well, then this little picture, I went out to I don't know if y'all can see this, I went out to the courtyard, and I was just going to take a picture of this tree that's right here. It was beautiful. It was dancing in the wind and just looked so gorgeous. But what I saw, I took a video and a picture, and it came in both, is this pink light that is over the entire hospital.
Wow.
Is that the coolest stuff?
I can't even see the tree.
Amazing.
That's what's funny. I can't even see the tree hardly.
No,
I don't see the tree at all.
Yeah.
The tree was the motivation for me, but that wasn't the gift.
Yeah.
The gift was the pink light over the entire hospital. So I've always been curious to go back and say, this is the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, New York. I want to go. Was there just a whole lot of healing going on? That
Got a whole lot of healing going on.
going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, then I was in the Bahamas on 12-12-12. I love crystals. I've come into, that's a whole different deal, but I love to go dig crystals. I love crystals. I'll show you. Here's what one of my students gave me is this wand. It's got pink quartz, rose quartz on one end and crystal quartz and all kinds of wonderful things. It's called the Queen of Love wand, and she gave it to me, and she said, "This is for you, obviously." I said, "Well, thank you." But I followed the activations of 888, 999, and 101010, and I tried to be at a number of those activations. This was during my sabbatical. So 12-12-12, it was the activation of the ruby crystal in Bimini. I couldn't afford to go to Bimini, so I thought, well, it's in the water. I'm just going to go to the Bahamas. Don't you think it's close enough? It's 135 miles across the way. I think I'm just going to go there. So I'm on the plane on the way back. I had a great experience. I swam with the dolphins. I had wonderful fun. And then I was on the plane, and I was sitting there reading a novel, just kind of chilling. And I don't know if you can see this, but you could visibly see green light coming out of my hand. So I looked over at my friend that I was traveling with. I said, "Hey, do you?" And she goes, "See that green light coming out of your hand?" "Yes, I do." I thought, well, I don't know. I think I'll just take a picture of it. If I could see it with my eyes, then maybe the camera will take a picture. So this is like the progression of the green light. It went to this really solid pink with gold light in it. Mm-hmm. And then it came back, and then it was bigger than it started out.
Wow.
Talk about, I'm like, how cool is that? Now, what I found out later was this is during the time Sandy Hook was going on.
Oh.
So I don't know if there was like an outpouring of love from anybody that was willing to give, but that's what was happening. It was 12-14-12. So,
wow.
Life is never dull, and it's always exciting. I've talked a mile a minute, so I
want to share a story with you and me, Vicki. Do you remember several years ago when we went to lunch and there was a crying baby in a booth? And I didn't know what you were doing. You had your hands going around like this. And I said, "What are you doing?" And you said, "I'm sending love to that baby to quiet down." And within, I think, less than a minute, that baby just quieted right down. It was nice and quiet after that. And I've used that ever since then. And then the other one, I think it was you. I know the one with the baby, but correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you tell me, because you were teaching me, you were helping with my Reiki, you were saying that when you're driving and if somebody's in front of you and they won't get out of the way, you send energy to move out of your way. And so I started doing that. You remember that?
Yes, I did both of those things. I love the practicality of it. It works on crying babies in restaurants and airplanes and everything. Now, there's the cool part about Heart to Heart is that it has intelligence. It's powered by unconditional love. The best thing I can do is get out of the way and let it do its work. That's what I teach practitioners to do. I love it. And when people come to learn Heart to Heart, they come in as strangers and they leave as family. Every single workshop. And so it's amazing. I had one friend, well, I don't know if I can say that.
Just don't use a name.
Four-letter word. Can I say four-letter?
You say anything you want to on this show.
Okay.
Hell.
She says, if you've been around Vicki for any length of time, you know she has some weird shit going on around her. So she came
Can I tell you something right quick?
Yes.
Let me tell you something right quick. All of a sudden, my speaker for Alexa turned on, and it is now playing music in the living room.
I unplug my Alexa when we're on. I unplug Alexa.
Right now, she's going, "I don't believe I understand what you just said."
Mm-hmm.
She's talking to those guides and beings that come with me.
I had to unplug
She's
my
got the
Alexa.
conversation in there. Honest to God, she's talking to all of these people.
Yeah. Ever since we started the show, I unplugged my Alexa because it kept turning the music on every time we would start the show. So she's in the drawer now. If it comes on then, I'm leaving the house.
That has never has that happened on this show, ever.
Mine did all the time the first week, and I'm like, I can't handle this crap anymore. It's distracting. So she's been in the drawer ever since then.
I'm going to tell
Wow.
a story on my experience with Elizabeth, and I've told her this before, so hopefully she won't care. I used to come. Gail has done a reading for me, and so has Elizabeth. And when they were down in McKinney, I went in, and somebody had said, you really need a reading from Elizabeth. So I was very excited, and I sat down. I didn't tell her who I was, what I did, nothing. She says, Enoch is here.
No.
And I go, yeah, he's with me. And then she says, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's with me too.
This was without alcohol now. I was actually doing a
She's
read.
totally sober. She goes, he has never come to a reading before. I go,
Ever.
well, I've invited him to go anywhere I am. So they just come along. They like to play in this world where we get to play. And, that's the coolest thing, I think. I love that we can have conversations. We haven't even touched on the miracles, but I've got more miracles than you could ever count. Let me tell you, how are we on time? I want to be honoring the.
We got about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to have to say goodbye.
Okay. I have a cousin, and she's married to this Hawaiian. His name is Lon, and they're up in Portland, Oregon. He has been in a wheelchair for 36 years. He's a paralyzed veteran, and they took him to the hospital in October of 2018, and they said he's not going to make it. He had a long laundry list of MRSA, things that they did to him over time that, was supposed to, that he was never expected to live through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think he had like 10 different kinds of things, like MRSA on his neck, MRSA on his ocular nerve. They had to take off a piece of his skull, come through his back. They said, you're going to be blinded from this. Every single time, his wife is a heart-to-heart practitioner. My sister is a part-time practitioner, so is my mother and my aunt. So the 5 of us are working on him the whole time. Everything the medical community said about him did not happen. And finally, the cardiologist came through and said, I want to meet this man who on paper looks like he is not alive. But every time I see him, he's vital. But he had only seen him in the operating room where he was out. And so when you are dabbling in miracles and you expect that miracles happen, that's just one of them. But I've worked on babies that were in utero that they had said, please, you need to abort this child because it's going to be a Down syndrome baby or it's going to be damaged. And they are born perfectly healthy. And I love being a part of that because the quality of life for that being, whoever it is so much richer, and you get to participate in that. It changes lives, and it certainly changed mine for the better. So, and the cool thing is everybody can do this. Mm-hmm. It's what is part of our natural being. So why don't we use more of that? That's my 2 cents.
Absolutely.
Well, what I love about what you've been talking about this whole time is that I come from a Baptist background as well, and I do profess Christianity as my basis, okay? And when people tell me that they're looking for the supernatural or they're looking for the magical, I'm like, there is nothing more magical or supernatural than Christianity and dealing with the spiritual gifts that God grants us, and so I love when I hear stories like this because they support what I try to teach people as well, that walking on water, healing, even turning the wine water to wine, because you're lying. Jesus loves a good party. He does.
I think he does. He's always laughing when he's with me.
Absolutely.
And he, you know, I've had people that come for the, you know, workshops or even in a session. Oh, I know one I was going to share. I had a lady that came for a session one time, and all of a sudden she says, this person is here, but he's speaking Japanese. And I'm thinking, Japanese? What? And she goes, oh, he says he's going to have you write it down his message. So I write down like automatic writing, start writing out. It's Dr. Yusui. He's decided he wants to thank me. He goes, oh, beloved daughter, thank you for bringing new energy to my work. And I'm going, well, what about the rules? He goes, what rules? He says, cut through that stuff and just get on about the business. I went, oh, okay, done. Thank you.
Reiki rules out. Yep.
I believe
That's the door.
I believe we've said that a couple of times here before about you don't have to do all that stuff with the Reiki. It's all about intent and moving that energy. So
Your intent is the power behind everything. It's your
Well, and
intention.
people ask me, well, what's the difference between Reiki and Reconnective? And when I was doing Reiki and Reconnective, finally Eric Pearl looked at me and he goes, I don't know what you're doing, call it something else. It's not what I've taught you. So that's when Heart to Heart was born. It's neither one or the other, but I was told in a message they were gateways to what I was supposed to do. So what I see is that people come to the fullness of their gifts through these gateways. And those are the other modalities. What I see is that Heart to Heart is a galactic frequency. It happens outside of time and space, and that gives it some different power because it's not limited to the duality of Earth. That would be my biggest difference between Reiki and Heart to Heart. And so that allows me to do a whole lot of things without having to use all the symbols and stuff.
well, I have thoroughly enjoyed listening to your stories and things, and something's just going off on my desk. What the heck?
I'm telling you.
I've got everything turned off, I swear to you.
I have never had this happen.
You'll have to come back.
Honest to God, I've never had this happen.
You'll have to come back and join us again. I really have but tell people how they can reach you before we say goodbye.
And I have specials. I have some specials if they want to call me. I've discounted my, hang on a minute. I discounted my rates for people on your show that want to do that.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, I don't know. It's like 50% off. Any of the things that I do, I'll send this graphic to you. I don't know where you can put it,
Yeah,
but
we can put it on the Spiritual Neighborhood page.
Yeah.
okay. And it's got my, they can get me at dr.vicky, V-I-C-K-I, at outlook.com via email, or my phone number is 972-841-3099. My website is www.heartconnections, plural.us.
And all this information is on our notes section on the Spiritual Neighborhood page on Facebook. So we always keep the information on the bios and things of everyone. So I have really enjoyed this, and I hope that when the quarantine's up, we're going to start doing physical meetups as well as the virtual, and we would love to have you come be a guest speaker at that time.
I would love that.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely love that.
Absolutely. Please do.
All right, we're going to...
Thank you for having me, girls. I enjoyed
Thank you for
it so
showing.
much.
It was good
Yes.
seeing you, Vicki.
Good seeing you too.
Good to see you.
I was so glad to meet you. Thank you for coming. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
The
All right.
recording has stopped.
Are we
And
done? Do I need to hang up and go away?
Hold on 1 second.
there. I did it. I'm getting
so
some...
now they're getting back at her. It was like, thank you. I don't know. I all of a sudden I hear voices in the living room, and I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh, my head is hot. It's hot today. It's humid. So that was fascinating. I just I love listening to stories like that. And the verbiage may be different, some of the names may be different, but I feel like there's so much commonality when we share these type of dynamics. You know, this is what, to me, this group is all about, finding what we share together, not what's different. That's what it's about for me.
Exactly.
Because, you know, I agree with her. I live in miracles. I mean, I was supposed to be crippled 25 years ago. They told me that I would be crippled within a year and never walk again. I may not have that sexy swagger I used to have, but I'm walking, you know. There's so many miracles out there that people, I think, discount because it's hard for us, I don't think, to accept the magic, because we expect magic, I think, in our lives. But I think sometimes people reject acknowledging miracles because we don't feel like we're deserving of them. And it's just the opposite. We're meant to have miracles.
Right.
We're meant to live.
We are supposed to have them.
Yes.
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 There should be more of them, not less of them. There should be more. And actually, it should be every day, not just every once in a while.
No, it should be.
It's really not.
It
Yeah.
should be. It should be.
really shouldn't be like a miracle. Oh my God. Should be an everyday occurrence. It's like, yes, that's the way it's supposed to be. This is the way it's supposed to work.
So with that said, I'm going to
So,
challenge people that watch us to, that's all focus on this virus and washing it clean. That's not deny
Yes,
it.
absolutely.
That's not talk about conspiracy theories. That's not talk about how stupid we are for wearing masks and you should wear a mask, you shouldn't wear a mask. Let's not talk about the fact that it came from bats in China, because you know what? None of those are facts. We don't know the facts. But what we do know is that we can create a community miracle. And we can do that by doing exactly what she was talking about. Loving and embracing the situation to heal it. Because if ever you've questioned the fact that our society has to heal itself and needs to heal itself, I think this is a perfect example of it.
Totally.
And we've got to drink. We've got to drink tomorrow because we've been way too serious the past 2 days.
I would just end with one other thing. I would literally take that virus image and do what Vicki was talking about doing. So
Yes.
that pink bubble around it, literally, and let that just evolve into a higher whatever and go on and disappear or evolve and go to do good things, not bad things.
Okay,
So
so
and some of the issues are with the fact that people think I'm not a healer, so I can't do that. It doesn't matter. We talked about it.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Intention is so important. It doesn't matter if you have the title or not. We all have a form of healing abilities in us. Just have the intention, see it in your mind's eye, feel it in your heart, and it will happen.
okay, so I have to disagree with
If you
y'all.
love your child, if you love your husband, if you love your family, if you love your job, if you love animals, you're a healer.
Well, yes.
Because you love
But let me just disagree with you on one point, and it's not so much a disagreement, it's a clarification. For me, as a Christian, when I want to be a part of the healing process, first of all, I believe that I'm a tool of God, and while He has given me certain abilities, that all healing comes through God. So I have to clarify that to be in integrity. So when I do this, I envision myself being connected to God directly, which is really hard for a lot of people to understand, accept, or acknowledge because they think we can't be, but we can. And that's where the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, is our connection. Once I'm connected with Him, I allow Him to send me healing energies. Now, I do it in colors because that's easy for me to visualize. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but that works for me. Green is my go-to color to go through and cleanse. And then you seal it with the love. So hit that virus with green is what I will be doing. Feel free to use this if it works for you. And then I'm going to wrap it up in a pink bubble, just like Dr. Nina said, you know. But I'm going to make sure I stay connected.
Vicki said.
What did I say, Nina?
Nina.
How did I say that?
I I don't know where that, you're talking in tongues again.
I am.
It's not even alcohol.
I know.
I don't know where that came from.
I've had a lot of
Who's
conversations.
watching, do you have any idea who Nina is?
Well, actually, I
If you
do.
do, please notify us and let her know.
No, actually, I know who Nina is. Sorry, I apologize.
It could be that you knew her in a previous life.
No,
like Nina.
no, I know who Nina is. Nina and I are like this. Nina's in my head right now. So, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. So, anyway, y'all get the drift. We can talk more about this later on because I hate to sound like I'm preaching because I don't have a plate I can pass. Doesn't do any good to preach if you can't pass the plate. It's a joke. Everybody laugh.
Oh,
I'm telling you, we've been way too serious
that's in
lately.
McKinney. It is in McKinney now.
What?
Ooh.
What's in McKinney?
It's gone to Bucky's. That joke.
Oh my God. I love Bucky's. I love Bucky nuts.
It's at Bucky's. It's in Melissa. It's on to Oklahoma. It's like gone.
Do you like Bucky nuts? I actually buy Bucky nuts and eat them like cereal. I put milk on them. They're like big snap, sugar crisp. They're awesome. I love. I don't think they call them Bucky nuts, but that's what I call
They're nuggets.
nuts. Nuggets.
Fuzzy nuggets. They're really good at street farm.
If I'm gonna eat sugar, I want Bucky nuts.
Oh,
No,
help me.
You should try them though. It's really good.
I tried them. They're really good.
Oh, help me. Oh, my God.
Oh. So I have a birthday coming up. If anyone wants to send me a birthday present, send me Bucky nuts or whiskey. Bucky nuts or whiskey.
What brand?
Oh, I don't care at this point. Usually I like Crown, but I'll take Rock Gut now. I just need whiskey. Oh my God.
Lord. Oh, my goodness.
Oh my God. No,
That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard.
Bucky nuts.
Ever.
Why is that funny? They're just nuts. They look like little nuts, like little walnuts with
Yeah,
sugar.
they're really good.
Yeah, but I know you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's the only nuts I put in my mouth.
Everything. Oh, help me.
That's the only nuts I'm gonna put in my mouth. Well, I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
Oh, help us.
Do you want me to read the closing now? Are we ready?
I know.
Please. Read it. Please.
We can just let it run all day long. I'll sit here and just talk to y'all.
Here at Spiritual Neighborhood Lunch Brunch, we are a community project of the Council of Families for Children. To contact any host, Elizabeth, myself, or Deborah, email us at spiritualneighborhood@gmail.com. And don't be shy to ask, be a guest on our show. Until we eat again, it is lunch, right? Be safe and stay whole.
All right, I'm turning it off.
Bye.
Thank you so much.